we move on from idolatry, Noah commandment number 1, to Noah commandment number 2. We spend a lot of time about idolatry, maybe too much, but we cover a lot of issues. By the way, before I forget, behind me is the site, Noahide7commandment.com, that anyone who wants to read all the classes that we had on idolatry, about 20 of them, they are all printed there on the site. All you need is to enter Noahide7commandment.com and click on the commandment list, and you will see idolatry 2023. You have the whole list of our classes. And of course, we also are planning to publish it in the form of a book. But it's available to anyone to just look, to read the classes so you become familiar with me. So don't rely only on the videos. The videos are lost usually in a sea of other videos. And if you want to get an idea of our classes, because they are built up step by step, so you need to really to go to that site and to read it so you have an idea what we are talking about. So now, with God's help, we are moving now to commandment number 2, and which means from Genesis chapter 1 to the story of Eden. The story of Eden will present us, lo and behold, Noahide commandment number 2, adultery. Primordial sin, adultery, not sex. Adultery, big difference. It's not sex that is forbidden. Adultery is forbidden. Okay, so I try to put the slide in. So here is the slide. You see my arrow. So the story begins. This is a story, history of this is the story of Eden. By the way, it's printed in the text as chapter 2, 3, Genesis story chapter 1, and the story of Eden look like different chapters. Remember, the chapters is a Christian. The church divided it into chapters. But in the Torah text, it's one story. So the story of Eden is a simple continuation of chapter 1. So nobody can go straight to the story of Eden before he became aware of chapter 1. It's so common. There are millions of people that read the story of Eden as if it stands on their own. Now, you need to know from chapter 1, who is Hashem? What is the difference between YHVH and Elohim? You need to know what is evil. You need to know evil in the eyes of Elohim. You need to know what is a Sabbath. You need to know God has created, Elohim created the universe in 6 days. You need to be aware of the story of Eden before you move to the story of Genesis, before you move to the story of Eden. I gave you an example. The famous tree of knowledge of good and evil, it's called. Now, if you don't know what evil is, if you're not aware that evil from chapter 1 is defined as everything that Hashem, YHVH, the merciful attribute, hates, specifically, then you don't know what the tree is all about. You need to know then that the evil is only in the eyes of Hashem. And if something is look evil to me, if I see suffering outside the world, it's only because I have the prism of the mercy in my eyes when I look at Elohim world. Had I not had this prism of Hashem on my eyes, then the universe, even though it's full of agony and pain, if I were a sophisticated lizard or spider looking at the world, it wouldn't be evil. It can be harsh. It is full of struggle of life. I need to be strong to prevail. That's right. But the concept of evil, that something is wrong here, it could have been better, it's only if I have the mercy, spectacle of mercy on my eye. So the story of Eden tells us, how did this spectacle of mercy enter our soul while living in Elohim world? It's very difficult to live in Elohim harsh world, where everything around us behave like Elohim law, in Elohim law, eat and be eaten with no mercy. It's a world full of justice, absolute justice. You eat and be eaten. But to live in such a universe with a spectacle of another attribute on my eyes make me bewildered. Maybe I may be depressed. I have to struggle with it. And that, my friend, is a source of all of our agony. That we live, we wonder why are there diseases there, the parasite, the catastrophe. And I had only Elohim perception in my eyes. If I was just a member of a regular creature of nature, I wouldn't wonder why there are calamities. I would wonder how to escape them. But the fact that there are calamities, it won't be something that should be corrected. Because I wouldn't have the idea that there can be a universe without it. So the question is, how did this perception of mercy enter our hearts and made us such complex creatures that they actually go through life with the agony of living in an Elohim world with the perception of mercy in our heart. In fact, the more we absorb, the more we allow mercy to enter our heart, the more we will struggle with this the dichotomy between what is in our heart and what we see outside. So the more we have Hashem in us, it's funny, but it kind of makes me to think about it. But the more we have YHVH in our heart, the Shekhinah in our heart, the more we are puzzled by this difference between what we have in our heart and what we see outside, because we are aware of the difference between the attributes. And only we know that one day the universe will go through to the Sabbath and it will change. But this is far away from us. So the story here in Eden that's, my friend, is the core of the story of Eden. The story of Eden is all about telling us how mankind receive the perception of YHVH in our heart, the perception of sin in our heart, the perception of evil in our heart, how it happened, making us now forcing us to face the difference between attribute and between Hashem and Elohim. Elohim is not evil. Elohim is not bad. Elohim is just. But it's harsh, but it's full of justice. But in a perspective of YHVH, she doesn't need it. Okay, so that's the core of the story. That's where we are going. Now, everything will become more clear to you as we learn. Now, let's jump forward to the beginning of the story of Eden. So this is, and after chapter 1 is over, 6 days are over, the Torah continue to tell us, it's the same story, that this is the history of the heaven and earth. These actually are the histories in plural of heaven and earth. I put question mark because I don't know what does it mean, histories in plural? How many histories did the earth have? When they were recreated, what is recreated? Strange. On the day that Hashem Elohim, wow, the first time we see Hashem in a text, in open, and attached to Elohim. Why is it? Chapter 1 shows only Elohim alone, YHVH alone. Here we see it together. So what happened? Made earth and heaven. Wow. In chapter 1, it says, at the beginning, Elohim made the heaven and the earth. Why here it says they were recreated earth and heaven in the opposite direction? Again, what you see here is simply the quotation of the first verse of introduction to the story of Eden. It's extremely important to understand it. If you don't understand that, what else can you expect from the story? You must understand every word here. So, how many histories the heaven and earth had? If it says in plural, it should be called, this is a histories in plural. And what has been recreated? I know that it was one creation, what has been recreated. And why did the two attributes appear here the first time ever in side by side? And in the opposite direction, right? It says they were created first from earth and then heaven. So let's try to understand what's happening here. So again, this is the famous end of the chapter 1. If you read that, you got the whole idea. If you really understand what it's saying here, you will understand the whole story. Because there are 3 sections here. First, here, this Elohim, this end of the 6th day, the Sabbath here, and YHVH entering, as we already know. And as the story ends, it says in green, this is Eden, and this is the histories of the heaven and earth when they were recreated, on the day that Hashem Elohim made earth and heaven. So what you see here is 3 phases, 3 steps. Okay, 3 steps. What are the 3 steps? First, you see the 6 days created by Elohim alone. Awesomely alone, he made Adam. He said, let us make Adam in our form and our image. This is 6th day, the end of 6th day. It's a long 6 days, from day 1, day 2, until day 6. And then at stage 2, you see that when Elohim was ready to make Adam, he asked Hashem. He knew that if he continued to make Adam alone, Adam will not stand the trial, the justice, the judgment, and Elohim will finish. Finish means here eliminate the universe with Adam, as he has done to many other universes before. So that's why Elohim turned to this time, in this universe, he turned to Hashem, which is another attribute, YHVH, that control the Sabbath here in blue, ask her to come in and to join him in holding the world. That's stage 2. Stage 1 is Elohim alone. Before making Adam, we go into stage 2, where we will see the YHVH entering. But she is not fully entering. She is only half of her YH is in 6th day. The VH is still in the Sabbath. The Yah, Jeremiah, Isaiah, the Yah, Netanya. So the Yah is here, but the VH is still in the Sabbath. And then stage 3, here they are together. So the YHVH enter the 6th day, and now they're flying together. So you have the full story. So at first, it's very obvious. At first, she come in, as we said, as a shy, modest bride. The cherub, but she's very modest. Usually, only she comes in as an acronym. You don't see her in open text. You need to be learned to see her. She's shy and modest, very powerful, but shy and modest. And she's entering our universe, we said, like a bride, entering a groom home the first time, looking, well, can I be comfortable in this universe? No, there's no creature here beside Adam who will know me. Can I find a rest here? Can I hold this universe? She's hesitating here. Then, the third stage, yes, she is entering in full force, and she is side by side with Elohim. So she is here in the story of Eden, side by side with the groom and the bride, with the two cherubim in love, forming the Garden of Eden. So here is a full story, right before your eyes. I don't have to, if you have an eye, you can see it. The 3 stages. So what happened now when she came here? What happened? The two cherubs flying over creation, and they consolidated. What means the hand wing against wing. Now in order to create Eden, now they're entering the universe, and they're flying over creation. To consolidate it. What does it mean to consolidate it? To give it a new meaning. Until now, the universe was created only by Elohim alone. But now, when she joined force, because he invited her to rule the universe with him and to create Adam. So that was they do now, joining wing against wing, two cherub, like Moses put them in a golden ark, and the two wing holding wing, they're flying over creation and consolidating it in the oneness. Why oneness? Because it says here, and Hashem Elohim made. In Hebrew, it's clear. In English, they say made plural or singular, but in Hebrew there is a difference. The verse made in Hebrew is for singular. So Hashem Elohim made in singular form as one. So the two cherub as oneness recreated, flew over the universe to recreate it. So now we understand why the verse says they were recreated, they were consolidated. What does it mean, consolidating? So what happened? Let's read it, the verse, and see how did they consolidate the universe. Here is a text, the next verse, tell you. Or before that, let's move on. Let's move back to this verse. How did Hashem Elohim here? Let's read it. This is the histories of heaven and the earth when they were recreated. Now we understand. The second time, because they consolidated, the two of them consolidated universe. When did it happen? On the day that Hashem Elohim made earth and heaven in the opposite direction. Opposite direction to chapter 1. Opposite direction. Chapter 1 says heaven and earth. Elohim created heaven and earth. And now the two attributes went backward. So first, the story now is clear. First, the first chapter tells you that Elohim created universe alone, asking nobody, or no one permission, consulting no one. He was awesomely alone dictator until he reached the stage of making Adam. Here he changed his rule and he consulted Hashem. We joined him, and together now they recreated the universe in oneness. So they flew over, the two cherub flew over the entire universe to consolidate it in the oneness. How did they flew? How did they fly? They fly from the 6th day, from here to the day 5, from day 5 to day 4, to day 3, to day 2, to day 1, to the beginning. So they went over the entire creation and consolidated. Means from now on, it's established, it will never falter. Who say that? Not me, but the Levite choir that chanted in a holy temple. For every day there was a certain psalm selected for the Levite choir to chant what happened in the story of creation on that day. So for day 6, they selected the psalm that says, I should have put a slide here, but I can read it to you. What the Levite choir chanted on the day 6. I'll put it there. Anyhow, it says here, they say that Hashem gone Gandur, the word today, the word was established or consolidated. It will never falter. That's the core of this psalm song for the Friday. And actually, this song tells you the story that on the day 6, the word was Hashem gone due. She came here, and from there on, the word will not falter, because without her presence in the heavenly court, Elohim would have terminated, finished the universe. But because of her presence here, the world was recreated and established. And from now on, it will move to the Sabbath without interruption, because she is here to protect us. She is like a guideline. She is like the lighthouse. She is the lighthouse that guides the universe to move to the Sabbath. So from now on, it will not falter. And her presence here will assure that the word will not be terminated, because as an attribute of mercy, he will protect us in heavenly court. So that's what the Levite choir chanted on day 6. They tell you that actually what happened is they flew back on creation, re-establish it, consolidating it in their love, which means, by the way, that what you see here, Elohim, is only chapter 1. But finally, when they flew back over creation, she is here now on every day together with Elohim. So although we don't see her around, we see the nature, and we know that nature is run by Elohim, law, but deep behind Elohim is Hashem here, on inside every atom, every molecule. By the way, if you want, I hope you understand what I'm saying now. It reminds me what physics now teaching today, that we have nature. Nature, we have tables, we have trees, nature as we see it. It's governed by natural law, set up by somebody. But deep inside, on a photon and electron level, there are no laws. It's a complete chaos. Two photons can occupy the same side. And two photons or electrons can exist or don't exist. It's a whole mishmash. Down deep there in the quantum level, everything falls apart. And still on the surface, we move toward us, we see the nature of crystallization of those atoms. They don't fly anymore at random, but now they are governed by a law. And now we see nature. So what we see here is nature, Elohim, and YHVH deep. So YHVH is representing the deepest level, which has no rule of nature there. That's just his thought. And to show you how in fact, how well the Torah actually matches the more we know about nature from science, the more we understand the story of the Torah. So we understand now almost the entire introduction. This is the history of heaven and earth. We understand now there are two histories. One forward, chapter 1 by Elohim alone, and one backward, so to speak, from day 6 to 5 to 12, from earth to heaven, by the two attributes who join and recreate from earth to heaven and consolidate the earth. Wow, now we understand what the verse is saying. If you have any other explanation, let me know. Okay? Now, so let's move on. The Torah now tells us, where is Eden? So they flew back over creation. All that is introduction to the story of Eden. And the primordial scene. So here we are. Torah, where is Eden? The Torah describes it in detail. You need to be blind not to see it. And there was no shrub of the field yet on earth. So on a day, it says, on a day that Hashem Elohim recreated. What day is it? When did they recreate it? And what day did they form the Garden of Eden? Here it is. And there was no shrub of the field yet on earth. Okay. Here's the introduction to the Eden, to the creation of the garden. To tell you what day they formed the garden. So they selected a day that there was not yet any shrub and field on earth, and the grass of the field had not yet grown, not even grass. No vegetation, of course, no animal, no vegetation, not even vegetation. Because Hashem Elohim had not yet showered rain on earth. There was not even rain. There was one of primordial days, the day with capital D, of creation, that happened. And there was no Adam, of course there was no Adam, there was not even any other animal. Only meats went up from the ground and watered the whole face of the earth. So there was no trees. So the Garden of Eden, which is full of trees and flowers and animals, it's formed on a day that on earth is just burned. So what day could it be? Let me know. I want your help. Could it be a 6th day? We started by the 6th day. Well, the 6th day, we know there was Hashem Elohim created, or Hashem Elohim was recreated, the beast and the cattle, and the social animals, spiders and bees and snakes and all this. But those beasts needed a lot of vegetation. So the story here doesn't fit day 6. Was it day 5? Because they flew over the creation. What day did they pick up to form Eden? Day 5? And day 5, to remind you, it was started by the fish, then by the bird, and then by the crocodile and lizard and swamps. Oh, it was full of trees and swamps. Oh no, so it couldn't be day 4, day 5. Was it day 4? Tell you, but day 4 was Earth was the axis of Earth was fixed so that the calendar was established for the season. Oh, that day was already full of vegetation. So the day couldn't be day 4. What is day 3? Okay, let's see what happened to day 3. Let's start with day 1. To remind you, day 1 was only chaos and lava and streaming lava on earth. Tohu vavohu, space, dark space, temperature of Earth was awful. No creature was here, only streaming lava. Day 2, to remind you, Earth passed through space where water came in. Earth was covered by water only. Who said that? Moses. In day 2, Earth was covered by water from above, from below. It was completely covered by water. It doesn't fit the story here. So day 2, so not day 1, and day 2, 4 do not fit the description here. We are looking for, to remind you, where was Eden for? Certainly not on day 1 with all the lava around, and not day 2 with all the water around, or day 3. To remind you what happened on day 3. Day 3 began with water, but then Elohim said, let the dry land separate from the water. And we said in our class that fit the History Channel description, because suddenly granite came up and dry land was formed out of the ocean, the supercontinent Rodinia, with no life on it, not even grass, not even rain, just barren granite island. We can still trace it today. And the rock that we got from that area are barren of any life, not even bacteria. Then there was a pause. In the middle of day 3, Elohim paused, and he said, it was a judgment. Should I proceed on to plant life on earth or not? Elohim said it was good. It was the middle of the day. It was unusual judgment in the middle of the day, but the day was still going on. And Elohim planted seed of life, seed of vegetation, and from there grew only, shrub, trees, no mobile animal. That's day 3. So I'm asking you, if you look at this description, what day? We are looking for the day where the 2 cherubs could park and form the Eden. Day 3 fit the story perfectly well in the transition. When was first the day after separating the dry land from the land, there was no creature on land, no rain, only barren Rodinia, not even bacteria are here. Elohim passed the judgment to see if there is any room for life here. And indeed, he said, yes, it's good. And the verdict was that he see life. And he went on. This is the first story from chapter 1. But now we're looking back, looking from our perspective, as it flew backward, they park on the same day. For God to go back and forth in time, it's not a big deal. So they flew back over creation and park on that spot. On a spot there was not even shower, not even rain, not any animal, and they formed the Garden of Eden on that moment, on that point. So now we understand that the Garden of Eden was formed on day 3. Before the heavenly court would plant any life on earth. Oh, so now we have the story better. Now, lo and behold, who said what I'm saying? 2,000 years ago, Rabbi Yochanan, the rabbi who actually wrote the Jerusalem Talmud. He read it. He didn't know anything about science, but he read the verse and he said it must be the day 3. Now you and me are now the only people in a billion of people around us. They know the story by heart. They preach it day and night. Do they know what I just said? No, they are completely unaware of the story. And that's important because they tell you why Eden was formed. You know what Eden was formed by Hashem Elohim? Eden was formed in Hashem Elohim on day 3 and put Adam there. So to give him another alternative to reach the Sabbath. What the key is, they were here. When Hashem Elohim formed the heaven and the earth, the earth and heaven. What does it mean formed? There are 3 levels: to create, to form, and to make. If I want to put a house, I want to build a house. First, I form it I create it in my mind. I decided what kind of house I want: big, small, 2 floors, 1 floor, or only me and my wife, or if I have children, what kind of residential, commercial, all that are the level of creation. I create the house in my mind. Then I, of course, contract hire an architect who follow my guideline and put the house now on a paper, on a blueprint. He transformed my chokhmah, my wisdom at the level of creation to the level of forming on a paper, deciding the house in detail. So now the first time, so the house is not yet put on a real life, it's in the real world, it's only on a paper, but it's only one stage towards reality. Finally, of course, the 3rd level, if I hire a contract, a builder who put the house on the ground, then I move to the level of making the house. So there is a creation of the house by my mind, creation, forming on the blueprint, and the Rabbi said the word of forming, which means a level of forming on a blueprint, and then finally making it. Turn out that the story of Eden is unlike any other chapter in the Torah. It's completely written in using the verb form. Hashem Elohim formed Eden. Hashem Elohim formed Adam. Hashem Elohim formed the woman. Never it says created or made. So through the entire story, the word used is forming because what? It was a blueprint. It was virtual, and now we understand why. Because in reality, Earth was barren. There was no life on Earth. There was only Rodinia with no life on it. Only ocean and dry land. The decision had to be made to put life on Earth or not. So they formed this virtual world called Eden. Now, in generation ago, like Rabbi Bachye in Spain and so on, for them, they couldn't really understand exactly what it means. But for us, on the 21st century, it's simple daily reality. It's a computer screen. Virtual, I say virtual, every one of us understand right away what it means. It's virtual, it's a computer screen. So that's what builders do. They first put the house. In fact, every builder does it. He first put the house on the screen, check the arrangement to see, and they ask the owner, do you like it or not? And then finally, he will put the house on the ground. So we are used to it. Here, Hashem acts like a builder. He formed the Garden of Eden to see if Adam will stay on the computer forever and goes straight from there to Sabbath, or he will put him on earth. What's the difference? My friend, here is the whole story. Because if Adam and Eve would stay on the computer, not ever facing earth with the angel of death, with the reality of disease and what we see here, he will never struggle like we do. With this double conception, we have prism of Hashem in our eyes, and we live in such a horrible world, full of hatred and wars and evil. We would never have it. To spare us the agony, the heavenly court offered Adam an option. Still, my boy, stay on the screen, on the virtual garden, which is beautiful. It was not a screen, it was a garden full of trees and animals. And from there you move on straight to the Sabbath without ever facing earth. We can imagine that this was the input of the merciful attribute. On the first round, Elohim alone, when Elohim created the universe alone, he decided, no problem, I'll go on plant life on it. And I will put Adam on it as it is. He will follow my rule. But now with the input of YHVH, on the same story, superimposed, going back, now the input of Merciful One was, let's pause. Let's give our child Adam a chance to never be thrown out to earth, build up on earth. Let him and Eve live a peaceful life on Eden. Go from there to the Sabbath. You insist on some judgment? We'll give him a small commandment not to touch the fruit there. But if he'll abide by our command, he will, which is very simple, only one law, he will easily go to the Sabbath. From there on, he will never face evil on earth. And by the way, even if Adam and Eve lived like that in Eden, they would have never known evil and death, but they would also never known the power of YHVH, our mother in heaven. Because if the mother of the power of merciful Hashem is only when we live in such a harsh world, then mercy and compassion has a meaning. But in Eden, when everything is provided free, they may be unaware of her. She would give up her awareness. She will let, as a loving mother, she says, stay home, my child. Never really feel my importance. As long as you will go straight to the Sabbath, I'm happy. Like a mother would prefer that a teenager will stay home under her wing and never go to college. She would prefer stay home. I know you go to college there. I know what happened, drugs and alcohol and sex, all that. Stay home. Or when the child finally go home, there, when he go in the college, finally he will realize what the importance of his mother. But as long as in his home, under the wing, loving me, food is provided, love, endless love, but child, he never really appreciated. He will appreciate it when he goes to college. And then, as my daughter did, once the first day she came to the college, a beautiful college, but she cried for weeks. She missed home. Only there on the campus she missed home. So staying, we understand it. See, if this happened, if Adam and Eve really stayed in Eden, without sin, never appreciate what evil is, never appreciate what Hashem is all about, because they live under protection. They don't understand that there is difference. They never seen evil. They will not be aware of her as they should, but she is content. Fine. As long as you are happy, as long as you read the Sabbath, I love you. So now we understand what the purpose of Eden was. If Adam fails, that's a story. Then we go to the original plan. The heavenly court will really see life on earth and develop Adam and Eve on earth later on day 6, as originally planned. But that Adam would face evil on earth full force. That's only if he missed opportunity they're given to him to stay in Eden. Okay. Now, that's a wonderful introduction to the story. And we need to move on and now understand exactly how did it form Adam and what did it tell him. And then we move on to how we know that Adam and Eve finally messed up. We know the story. But this explains how did the awareness of Hashem and awareness of evil finally enter our heart. It could have been different had we lived in Eden. Okay. Any question for me?